R. Question for your reading and my writing considerations. What is reason? What is unreason? Speaking of which, what's madness? What kind of madnesses are there? Which madnesses call to us? Why is it so important that we reject the lens of the current world makers when thinking about what freedom will actually cost us? First, what exactly is reason? Capital R reason, this thing I keep saying. From the text, from page 4 specifically, for the purposes of this study, I distinguish reason, lowercase, from reason, uppercase. The former, little r reason, signifies a generic process of cognition within a given system of logic. Meanwhile, capital R reason is a proper noun denoting positivist, secularist, enlightenment-rooted episteme purported to uphold objective truth, quote unquote, while mapping and mastering the world. In my own words, reason, capital R reason, is a school of thought conceived from white world makers to decide who is compliant with their world makings and their understandings and who is deviant and thus dangerous to those understandings. This is my personal definition. I came to rest on these understandings while I waded through very expensive therapy school, trademarked. A thesis that exists a bit later in this chapter speaks to this truth, and it's psychiatry is susceptible to ideology. From page 7, psychiatry is susceptible to ideology. All of the sciences, and we're really going to unpack this later, but all of the sciences of the mind and the understandings of the human condition, quote unquote, what makes sanity and insanity, are based in the ideologies of the people holding the evaluation form. And matter of fact, the people that wrote the evaluation form in the first place. The people that decided that we determine what is reasonable and healthy and what is insane and unreasonable by filling out a form. I want us to note the emphasis here on world making. That capital R reason decides what is appropriate, understandable, reasonable schools of thought as a means of thought policing. Reason quite literally creates enforceable policy on what one can be allowed to think and experience in the internal self without threat of psychiatric imprisonment, social ostracization, state violence, even justification for public lynching.